Let's briefly introduce the physical and physiological demands of the sport. Volleyball is a sport that requires players to perform repeated bouts of high-intensity movement. For example, quick reaction to the positional adjustment on the court, setting for an attack, or performing a maximal effort of jump in blocking, spiking, and serve. So the acceleration, deceleration performance, change of direction, speed, and lower extremity power are very important for players. There are research claimed that change of direction ability requires enhanced physical capabilities of lower body strength and power. Jumping, sprinting, and agility abilities underlie the performance qualities of all tactical elements during a match. All of these abilities let the player have a good timing of spike and block, with a greater contact with the ball above the net. From the same research, it's also claimed that most successful players in all positions often use forceful drills like force, spike, and serve, which require the muscle strength, also with a dominated on specific physical requirement, which is lower body power, speed, and agility, especially for setter. On jumping high, the power of triple extension will demonstrate how high an athlete can take. However, some research agree that ankle is also one of the reasons that an athlete can jump higher or low. It also means that volleyball player who has better ankle range of motion may help them with their jumping performance by increasing the force output. Common injuries sustained in the sport. First, jumper's knee. Patellar tendinopathy, also named jumper's knee, is an overuse injury of the knee extensor mechanism. Athletes need to perform sport-specific drills like jumping, landing, acceleration, and deceleration, which will give repetitively high mechanical stress to the knee extensor tendon. At any given moment, up to 45% of competitive jumpers and 14% of leisure jumpers have signs of jumper's knee, whereas the incidence of jumper's knee among top players then is ankle sprain. In volleyball match, 46% of acute ankle sprains were caused by high rate activity, such as direction change, jumping, landing, and sprinting. Also, muscle strength or muscle control may be the risk factor to get ankle sprain. For example, poor isometric hip abduction strength. Also, research reveals that chronic ankle instability was reported by female athletes 32% more frequently than male players 70% due to strength difference. From the research we can see the quadricep strength is a significant predictor of ankle sprain on male volleyball, while the previous ankle sprain and the jumping height are not. So we will try to focus on the strength and power of quadricep based on our findings. Lastly is the ACL injuries. One of the most serious sports injuries is anterior cruciate ligament damage, also named ACL, which may be further broken down into direct and indirect ACL damage. 70% of landing related to ACL injuries was significantly higher among both male and female volleyball players throughout the data. Almost 60% of female volleyball players sustain ACL tears in their left legs because of landing awkwardly after a jump attack, and spikers were more likely sustain ACL tears than. So here's the biomechanical requirements of the sport. In terms of lower limb component, if the muscular extensibility and range of motion have been enhanced, the kinetic chain of jumping will get quicker and higher. In volleyball action, drop jumping with less dynamic failures, it can have superior rotational joint motion. Kinetic chain can also facilitate more efficient energy use. Research stated that when jumping, the force produced by the knee extensor can be transferred from the knee to the ankle joint by contracting the biarticular gastrocnemius muscle before the conclusion of the push-off. Consequently, the proximal joint to the distal joint transmit mechanical energy. Muscular activation in the quadricep and hamstring happened immediately after ground impact. They stressed that, in terms of the late takeoff period of the counter-movement jump, the importance is the plantar flexor muscle force input. It is claimed that during the final plantar flexor period, plantar flexor EMG activation rise. Sport-specific skills in volleyball include three-step approach for attacking and blocking. All of them is using the lower limb to be start at the action, and both can be defined as counter-movement jump, which leads to the influence of strengthening cycle movement to enhance the jumping height. So the first exercise is hurdle jump. A relatively brief period of inactivity in SSC known as amortization, the most vital element of a plyometric workout. This phase simulates the transition from landing to takeoff and is essential for power development. There is no plyometric benefit if the amortization phase is too long, since the stress reflex is gone. On the other hand, hurdle jump increases lower limb strength in the landing phase to absorb weight and concentric quadriceps in jumping, which helps in lowering the risk of getting patellar tendinopathy and ankle sprain. We employ the double leg jumping because it is easier to achieve our goals, jump height with maximum jumping speed. In the first stage of this training, we use colored band to measure the distance, and it helps athletes to perform both knee and ankle extension to ensure the range of motion and increase power output. Limitation in jump fast and high instead of jump forward. Research in 2019 compared the effects of plyometric hurdle jumps and tuck jumps training on strength and leg muscle power, and shows hurdle jump is better than tuck jump. This can be seen in analysis from the hurdle jump exercise, repeated jumping over the parallel oriented goal while supporting the body's weight on the limbs. So here's the next exercise, hand power clean. Muscular power is the main factor that determines dynamic sport performance. Three-step approach is a counter-movement jump result in a slow, long-reactive type of stress shortening cycle. Moreover, the performance of jump is depending on the load accepted during eccentric phase. Weightlifting exercise, hand power clean, have been used as a training method for many athletes to improve their power output, and can quantify change the sport performance from vertical jump power production. From the research of Hoyt in 2015, it shows that the effect of learning hand power clean can enhance the performance of squat jump. All tested athletes demonstrate increase in peak power. Another research also found that athletes who have a greater 1 RM hand power clean have better counter-movement jump performance. The counter-movement jump height are also greater. Top group are 43.1 cm and the lower group are 39.9 cm. So, hand power clean will mainly activate the gluteus maximus, hamstrings, quadriceps, erector spinae, gastrocnemius, trapezius, latissimus dorsi, and deltoids. The lower extremity muscle that will affect the vertical jumping and power output mostly can be trained in hand power clean. Moreover, hand power clean involves vertical acceleration of the weighted bar accompanied by rapid and forceful extension of the hip, knees, and ankle, triple extension. Effective triple extension is essential for jumping. During the intermediate phase of rehab training of ACL, we can add on hand power clean for training up the elastic response, as the catching phase of hand power clean will perform a absorption of weight and also can let them learn about the deceleration response of muscle and joint. So hand power clean can be divided to 5 points for better coaching. First, grab a lightweight bar, shoulder wide to hold and stand. 1. Mid-thigh. 2nd, heel up, stand straight. 3rd, struck. 4th, elbow rise. Then drop and catch. So here's the last exercise, single leg jumping. We employ the single leg jumping because it resembles volleyball blocking technique. We have 3 stages for training: single leg squat, long counter movement, and counter movement. There won't be any counter movement jump in level 1 and 2 to let players to get used to the movement and build up muscle strength. Double leg landing. Level 3 are then limited to counter movement jumping and single leg landings to prevent ankle injuries. In first 2 levels, we will require them to their hip level go deep to their knees as much as possible. The triple extension action, including hip, knee, and ankle, produce the most power. So level 2 and level 3 will require them to perform triple extensions to maximize training outcome. A study finds that the impact of counter movement jump and drop jump training on the volleyball specific jumping ability for non-professional female volleyball players over the course of a 6-week jump program. Jump height significantly increased for both groups. According to the study, the counter movement jump group was able to raise their maximum jump height by 6.1 and 5.1 cm, whereas the jump group increased jump height by 2.1 cm in volleyball attacks or blocks. This proves that counter movement jump training was far superior to drop jump training in terms of effectiveness. Another research investigates how plyometric training affects vertical jump performance. According to the statistics, men's vertical jump height grew from 62.1 to 67.2 cm, while it significantly increased for females from 45.3 to 49.9 cm. Moreover, another research in 2016 discovered that plyometric exercise can lower the risk of ACL injuries by 70%.